Hi everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty Group, and welcome back to this week's Pick 5. Now, one of my favorite types of Pick 5 to do is area specific, neighborhoods, if you will. Now, within that style of Pick 5, I'm really attracted to the neighborhoods where you see a big difference between one type of housing and another. Think about price, size, style, layout, architecture. And one of those areas is Swansea. Now, where is Swansea? Good question. Thank you. I asked it. Swansea, not to be confused with Sunnylea. I mean, they both start with S and end with A, and they're both in the West End, but Swansea specifically is essentially south of what we would call Bloor West Village. Now, let me zoom in here and you can see recently viewed 79 Raymond. Oh yeah, that's a nice new listing. You've got High Park up here. You've got Bloor West Village here. Google Maps says Runnymede. It's called Bloor West Village. And then Swansea is south of Bloor. So you might say there's not a huge difference between Bloor West Village and Swansea, but there is. There's a difference in terms of the type, size, and style of housing. And as well, I had a client that said they wanted to be in Swansea. One of the things I do when I have a new client is I take the previous year and their search parameters and look at every listing that came up and fit it. They're interested in Riverdale, they're interested in Swansea. There's about 25 houses came up in Riverdale that sold in 2025. There were 4 in Swansea. It just speaks to the rarity of the offering and how small the area is. So effectively, we're South Kingsway, Morningside, Ellis Park, and Bloor. That's more or less it. And what we're gonna look at today, guys, are 5 listings, as you can see outlined, from $1,599,000 all the way up to $6.39. That's what I meant when I said there's a massive difference between, let's say, top and bottom. So we'll start here with 59 Ostend Avenue. Now, this is an estate sale. The house is not in amazing shape. It's been on the market for 70 days, but as you scroll down here, draw your attention to this. This is a 1922 built house. It might not look like it. You're accustomed to seeing this style of house throughout the central core, and many of these were built in the 30s, 40s, or even 50s. But this specific is over 100 years old now. You can see it's been on the market for 70 days at 1.599, which tells us that, yeah, okay, maybe it's a little bit pricey. Now, it is detached, it's 2-story, it's 25 by 110, it's 3-bed, 2-bath, it's got parking via the mutual drive, but 70 days in the market. It's a renovation project. We'll look at the photos and I'll show you exactly what type of renovation this is going to require. So this is not a house that needs an addition. Check it out from the front. It's a wide semi. It's got the big covered front porch, which is really nice. You know, there's not much to do out here. Then you get on the inside and this is 1922 for you. It's original trim, original stained glass. Some people call this charming, but others want to rip out all the freestanding walls. They want nothing to do with the original structure. This could be $150,000 reno, or this could be a $500,000 reno, depending on what you want to do to it. So see what I mean? A newer house, and I'm thinking previous Pick 5s, I can't remember over the last couple of weeks, one Lavinia Crescent's a great example of a house that did really well on an offer night, took out every freestanding wall. And a house like this, that's what ultimately you're gonna wanna do. I would think some people maybe don't want to, but in typical new renovation on a house like this, you'd have no freestanding walls. Again, the kitchen needs to be gone. We're talking flooring, cabinets, not even the cabinets, the hinges that they're on, everything, the framing. You've got, obviously, you know, built in 1922, well, you didn't really have a place for this. You didn't have a place for this here. I can't imagine what was here. These don't look like 1922 cabinets. They're probably 1960s, 1970s. But again, you want to take this out, the wall here, and you're going to have to reroute the HVAC, so we're talking major work. But this is very representative of a typical Swansea house that hasn't been touched in a long time. 3 really big bedrooms. You're going to have the 1 big bathroom, which we'll get to in a moment. You're going to have the bathroom in the basement, which is probably semi-finished, and let's take a look. There you go. So you can see it's a basic level of finish. I don't know if you would call this, you could say it's finished but not well, but are you going to start to underpin this? You don't want to. That's going to cost a lot of money. You want to just rip out as many freestanding walls as you can. You're going to have to leave a support here and a support here. You're going to get into a ton of money. And then back here you can see, right, 1 car parking, wide enough mutual you can get a car through, little backyard, detached garage, and that's that. So price-wise, here are our comps. You've got $1,465,000 and $1,666,000 based on, you know, effectively just looking at the same street. So stick with Ostend. Here you've got 2-story, 25 by 100, $1,465,000, and you know, it needed some work too, but it's in decent shape. And this sold when? This sold in 2023. So then you look and prices presumably down since then. And you see this one here, 68 Ostend, 1,660,000, 25 by 110, detached 2-story, much better shape, 4-bed, 2-bath. So we go back here and we say, well, that's probably why not this one's not moving. So when you have an estate, a lot of times there's a lot of moving parts. You've got lawyers, you've got siblings. I can't say specifically what's happening with this one in particular, but in my experience, when it comes to estates, there's never a rush, right? There's a process to follow. Looks like these guys have listed a price that 70 days in the market, market doesn't agree with it. It'll take a bit of time to wear this one down, but the location is impeccable. Where is 59 Ostend? It's 1 block from Bloor. A+ location in Swansea. The house itself, wide lot, it's got parking. I love the bones, it just needs a reno, and I think maybe they could do a teeny bit better on the price. So next one here, guys, we're gonna jump up pretty big in terms of size and stature. This is a 3-bed, 4-bath, but it's only $100,000 more, which is kind of what I meant to say. So we're detached 2-story, 25 by 129, 3-bed, 4-bath. So all of a sudden, hey, wait a minute, remember that one we were looking at? Sorry, at one point I said semi, we've been doing a lot of these today. Detached 2-story, 25 by 110, and then you've got detached 2-story, 25 by 129. So only $100,000 more. Now the street itself, Lavinia, okay, it's further south. I'd much rather be here on Ostend because of course you're so close to Bloor. So you're gonna get a bit of a downgrade there, but they've got their 4 bathrooms. It's renovated, it's nice. Let's take a look at the photos. And this isn't brand new, but look, it's a heck of a lot better than the last one. The last one's original. So different vibe here, very, very different vibe. And it looks like a lot of different, there's some 90s in here, there's some 2000s in here. You can tell by the countertops, the tile, but it's a much better house than the last one. It's only $100,000 more. It's way further south. There's a lot of differences. And this is what fascinates me. This is upstairs, right? A big open concept room here. This is what fascinates me with an area like Swansea, right? They've got this nice big family room, is you have so many different types of housing, different styles. This feels like it was built in the 80s, renovated in the 90s into the 2000s. Photos are a bit out of order here. There you can go bedroom turn into a office, but it keeps you on your toes certainly. So great location with Ostend, definitely needs some work, and yes, I think it's overpriced. Then down here, this one didn't get a ton of love, and they've listed before, so I will show you that after. I've made a note of that. Furniture, okay, maybe you could have done a better job with the staging, but I think this is tremendous value. And if I had somebody that was looking in this area, I do have one client, but they're looking more in the 2.5. Right? But I mean, as a starter house, you expect to get your semi for kind of around 1.5, and this is 1.699, and it's detached, and it's not original. So there's your, talk about original, there's your original. That's a very, very 80s look to it with that kitchen there. Oh man, yeah. Outside's very nice. Nice big backyard. Maybe you don't love all the stamped concrete or flagstone, but you've got your back deck. This is where, it reminds me of a few pick 5s we've done where we did one where a guy decked his entire front and backyard, or I should say flagstoned it. And then here's a good shot from the back. I mean, that's a monster house. So this thing at $1,699,000, that's incredible value. And then let's look at the listing history, and you can see they came out at $1,899,000 in October with an offer date, didn't work. They put it back at $2,095,000. Now they're at $1,699,000. But here's the thing, and I was kind of saving this for the very end, guys, okay? Offers Wednesday, January 21st. So didn't mean to trick you, but wanted to lead you down that path of saying that they're listed at $1,699,000. Our other friend here, they're at $1,599,000, which is overpriced. It should be $1,499,000. But then these guys here, you look at it and you're like, wow, this is a really good price for $1,699,000. No, they've got an offer date. I can't say what they're looking for, but if you figure that they were at 2.1, I mean, they did the 1,899 with the offer date, didn't work. They raised it to 2.1. They're now at 1,699. I don't know, what are they looking for? 1.9, maybe 2 million. So great value here either way. Love it at the list price, but as I've showed you, they've got that offer date there. Okay, so the next one's gonna be really fun. This is 47 Morningside, 35 by 100. This is 49 Morningside, 17.44 by 100. Do you see what's happening here, guys? They've subdivided this lot. This is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. And then, as you can tell from the front here, see how this kind of slopes up? They've, right, clear cut this here. So somebody had the bright idea, and I don't mean that sarcastically, somebody had the bright idea, they bought this for $1,640,000. They cut the lot in half, and they built these two properties, which are both triplexes, legal triplexes. So that's what I meant by kitchens 1+2 and 4 beds +2 and 6. This is effectively a 6-bedroom, 6-bathroom total triplex, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. So scroll down here. Upper unit's leased for $3,500, main is leased for $3,000, and basement's rented for $1,890. Total monthly rent is $83.90, a yearly income of $100,000 with a 4.31% cap rate. Now, I think people are chasing a 5+ cap, far be it for me to say, but I love the fact that somebody had the foresight to build this. Now, who doesn't love it? Maybe the neighbors. A lot of neighbors are anti-development, or it's sort of the NIMBYism is like, we definitely need more housing in Toronto, but I just don't want it next door to me. But look at this, look what someone built. Triplex and triplex. Then you come over here, and you say that's what was there before. I just think it's cool. And this kind of speaks to what I was discussing earlier, the difference in housing types, styles, sizes, and prices as you look at what is effectively a $2 million cash producing asset. Now, one more thing I want to show you. Here's 47 Morningside next door, $1,099,000 expired. And then here's 49 Morningside. So we're at $1,999,000. We terminated, we relisted at $2,019,000. Okay, we terminated, we relisted at $2,019,000, which is where we are now. So I will say this, the neighboring house did sell off market, it looks like. So you've got 2 fully tenanted properties, both income producing assets, both, I don't know, I think they look pretty cool, nice look to it. But one more time, just for the record, check this out here, and then check this out here. They just excavated it all. They clear cut it. It's built up on a hill if you know these streets, and they built 2 really tall, really cool triplexes. Oh my God, I didn't even show you the photos. I'm gushing about the fact that somebody did this. I mean, look, the photos are from when it's empty. Like, this is what I'm talking about, okay? Here's your entrance here, separate entrances, and adhering to fire code, like legal triplex. And the photos aren't sexy because they were taken before this thing was tenanted. I'm gonna kind of end it here because it's boring, it's just kind of hardwood. But I'm gushing about this property, I haven't even showed you inside it. I just think it's so cool that somebody built these. Okay, so the next one we're gonna look at, very, very different. 16 Palisades, and this one kind of reminds me of California, Beverly Hills, not just because it's Palisades, the Pacific Palisades, but because of this look here with this rounded archway and this stone entrance. This is a very timeless look to it, and Palisades, I can say, is a very, very high money street. Let me show you what I mean. 50 the Palisades, 3.3 million. 19 the Palisades, listed, didn't sell, but 5.5. 11 Palisades, 3.4. And we'll take a look at them just so you can put this other one in perspective. 50 the Palisades, this is a beautiful red brick Georgian style. And I'll show you, it's interesting because this part of the house is beautiful. And then they've got like this addition and this addition. Kind of like, if I could just chop it off there, that's beautiful. That looks like something you'd find in Rosedale, Moore Park, maybe even if you go into like King George and Prime Kingsway. But they sold for 3.3 on a 35 by 114. And then you had, again, big money house here, 5.5, 38 by 124, didn't sell. Okay, 38 by 124, 5.5, okay. And then down here, a 41 by 104 and kind of original, sold for 3.4. So then we go to our friend here and we're like, okay, so you've got a 38, but you're only 99 deep. So what is this? Is this land value? It's too expensive to be land value. But if we're talking about, forget this one here. Look, 5.5 million for a 38 by 124 new build. And no, maybe they didn't sell it for 5.5, and maybe that was listed when the market was higher. But all of a sudden, this one's starting to look like it could be a new build opportunity. So again, at what price? And I don't want to insult these people in their lovely home by saying, it's just land value. But, beautiful, beautiful house, or at least it was when this is probably early 1920s. So same thing inside, right? Original trim, and you get a sense of that's nicely done. It looks like virtual staging. Maybe it's real staging. But there's only so much you can do with furniture. Once that furniture's gone, you're going to see it's very original. And that looks neat too. But it's not a huge footprint. As you get into the kitchen, right? So people want to rip this out, take down the freestanding walls. They want to do an addition off the back. And it's not bad, it's totally livable. I mean, I'd think livable for $2.5 million. But the lot itself, big money street, now we're talking about $2+ million lots where somebody might tear down. So I don't know if this is virtual staging, I think it's real staging and it looks really good. And as somebody that stages all their properties, I can tell you that, yeah, you can take a house and make it look a lot better with furniture. But you still gotta look beyond it. And talk to me here about how big is this? How many square feet is this? And I don't know that the buyer is looking for this exact house layout, size, style at this price point. I think that if this thing were 2 mil, I'm not saying it is, but if it were 2 mil, someone would take it right down and they'd build a new house. Because we saw that someone building 2 triplexes on Morningside, and we've seen a $5.5 million house that's on the same block as this one. It's a really, really popular street. And I actually think they put that in the listing. The fact that they're showing this lot, right, you can see here, High Park, right, backing onto it. Here's your water, land value. Are you kidding me? Now, I'll go to the listing history here. So you can see they came in at 278, and this is July of last year. Then they went to 258. They were on the market in September, looks like all through the fall. Now they're back on the market at 258. So beautiful house, guys. I love the character and the history of this, but I think that the buyer would rather have a new build on a smaller lot in not as good location for, 3+. And I think this thing ultimately, if it was cheaper, it would be a great project. Now, speaking of great projects, and the reason why I'm saying Palisades could be a project because of that incredible lot is because of something like this, 30 Dacre Crescent. Dacre, Dacre, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a beautiful house. This is a 50 by 227, and we're not going to compare the last one on Palisades because it was a 38 by 100, but a 50 by 227 for 6.39 million. Now, let's look at the photos first, because sometimes you just want to look at beautiful photos. Not only is this house a new build and absolutely beautiful in every way, but the style is so cool. And it might not be yours, right? See the black spindles with the gold elements, but at least it's fun to look at. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do a blue dining room with gold on the ceiling. I certainly don't know. And it might not be for you, but it sure is cool. It sure tells you, look at the black frames here. It sure tells you, hey, somebody with more talent and design than you knew what they were doing here. See what I mean? Like, this is just cool. Something out of a magazine, but it truly is. It's gorgeous. Now, having said that, when you go to sell a house like this, you have to find somebody that loves your style. They appreciate every element of what you chose. And there's sort of that it's like fashion, right? It's like you see somebody that knows better than you wearing it, and you're like, oh, cool, is that what people are doing? And by the same token, with a house that's got a designer working on it, stamped concrete in the backyard, they might, kind of throw up the flag and say, hey, everyone, this is what's in. This is what you want. Now, 227-foot lot, but how much of it is tableland? So on the one hand, you've got nobody behind you, and you've just got trees. But on the other hand, you're like 227-foot lot, and how much am I getting in a backyard? So that's the yard. It's concrete, flagstone, whatever you want. You're not putting a football field back here, but the house is absolutely to die for. This thing is just so cool. Yeah, look at photos of this all day. Oh, the closet's coming up. Here's the master bedroom, primary, excuse me. But even the little things like this, like the rounded archway and like this level of detail is gorgeous. Here comes a closet. Boom. Look at that. Tell me it's too dark for you. Fine, whatever. But man, that's cool. The bathroom. Wild. Wild. In my next life, maybe I'll be a designer. No, I won't. I didn't get the artistic vibe, in the Fleming family. Just never into drawing, music for that matter. I picked the trumpet because it had 3 buttons and I thought it would be the easiest. No, I never got that. So not coming back in as a designer in my next life. Look at this wine room, my goodness. But it doesn't mean that I can't gush over it when I see something cool. So this is absolutely not my style, and I don't think this style would grow on me if I was to, buy a house and move into it. But God, is it fun to look at, and man, is it beautiful. And do I think this is worth 6.39? Who's to say? But a 50 by 227 new build. And then let's look at, guys, the listing history of this one. Here's the original house, 50 by 228. Looks like they lost a foot. So for $2.13 million in 2020, in November. So this little bungalow, and then someone does this with it. And that is why I thought the Palisades house, if we go back here for a moment, because I almost feel guilty, if you can tell, about saying that this is a teardown. You've got your 38 by 100, and it's an amazing location. Can someone buy that and do a new build like what we saw with our friend 30 Dacre Crescent? Because let's go back. I can't believe it. Well, I mean, I can. It's just this was probably an estate sale too. Just land value, 2.31 $1.13 million. Now, they were previously listed, let me go back here, they were previously listed for $6.89 million, $500,000 price drop. That's a lot. I mean, some properties cost $500,000, but when you're that high in price, you can't really drop the price 100 grand, 200 grand. You're not moving the needle. You're not getting anybody new in there. So a $500,000 drop from 6.89 down to 6.39, that is really cool. Now, where is it? Let's take a look on the map. Obviously, for a big money house like this and that lot, you've got to figure, let me zoom out a little bit more. You've got to figure that it's not over here near DeForest or over here near Ostend. No, it's in this section here, which as you can see, 16 Palisades recently viewed. Yes, that was us. That's what I meant by the big money street. People love Palisades and they love Dacre. One day I'm going to figure out how to pronounce that. And that's why these properties are getting the prices that they are. You're overlooking the park, and you can zoom in here and see not only that, this is on a quiet dead end. Look at the size of this lot. Beautiful. And you know what? You're not too far. You walk up Ellis Park, you're not too far from Bloor. So I absolutely love this house. I think the design is wild. I think this is the type of house that someone's going to walk in and just go, I'll take it. And that is it. We flew through that. When we flew through that pick 5, let's review. Let's look at the 5 properties. Ostend, 1599 estate, needs work, a little bit pricey. Lavinia, I think I have a client whose daughter's name Lavinia, 1699, and it's a bit tricky because no, they're not really looking for 1699. It's a bit cheeky. They lowered it. They've got an offer date, but that's an amazing house. You've got $2 million here, which is our triplex. Cash cow, $100,000 a year coming out of that. Then you've got 2.58, which might be land value. Someone might do a quick and dirty reno. Then you've got $6.39 million for a new build. Guys, show me another area of the city where you have so many different property types across such a big range of prices. I think you'd be hard pressed to do so. Anyways, guys, that is it for this week. Thanks so much for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed this very quick and very brief, looks like based on the timer, look at Swansea, one of the most popular family areas in the West End. Of course, worth mentioning, I talked in a previous podcast about these 4 tenets of a great family area: schools, parks, transit, and infrastructure. This has the school, Swansea, people are attracted to it. Obviously, you walk up to Bloor, there's your infrastructure. Parks, need I say more? High Park, and then you can go down to Ellis Park. And last but not least, transit, you're off the Bloor line. Folks, that's it for me for this week. Thanks so much for watching as always. And if you'd like to have Pick 5 emailed to you directly when we launch, go to TorontoRealtyBlog.com, go to Pick 5, sign up, and you'll get an email link every Thursday when we produce and publish a video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.